Hey, it's Dr. D here, and I'm glad I have the opportunity for each of you to get to know me as a real flesh and blood human being. I'm going to do like I've asked you to do with your introduction videos, give you a little bit of my social and personal details, and give you an idea of what my expectations and goals for myself and the course as a whole this semester may be. I'm not really going to talk about my current understanding of the topic, of course, because that kind of defeats the purpose and ruins some of the mystery. So, socially and personally, well, dude, life is not always a bowl of cherries. It's been pretty rough here lately. I've lost quite a few folks very close to me over the last year, 2 years, and the end of last semester. I've also been sick and well, and sick and well, and sick and well. Whew. Well, it's been a crazy roller coaster in that respect. But, all in all, it's been good. I'm learning about life and about death, and I'm also processing getting older myself. I'm learning to adjust to physical changes and some of the social ideas about age and aging. I'm learning about how social issues and trends and whatnot can affect relationships, whether they're casual or very deep relationships. I'm learning about how all of that affects me personally, how I feel about myself, how I feel about others and life in general, and the world. I think they call it growing up, but that's not something I ever planned on doing. So, I have a house full of animals, a house full of cats and dogs. I have Ori. She was named after my grandmother. I adopted her from a rescue that rescues animals in North Carolina from kill shelters. And she had 9 puppies shortly after I adopted her. They all lived. They all got great families. I made sure of that. And I even keep in contact with a lot of the families that adopted the puppies. Even today, they just turned 8 years old in December. We think Mama Ori is about somewhere between, 9 to 12. We have no idea. Next, I have Lily. Lily is a black and white pit bull, and again, she showed up. She's kind of a rescue. She showed up at my house in my garage about 4 years ago on Mother's Day weekend. And she stayed despite the fact that she left and came back and left and came back, a total of like 3 or 4 times. I did my best to find her owners. I tried to find a new owner for her, and oh boy, let me tell you, I jumped through all kinds of hoops trying to find, a safe place for this little doofus dog, and I ended up keeping her myself. And I'm actually really glad that I did, because she's my little cheerleader. She's my baby. I have 3 cats currently. My late mother's cat, Sugar, also known as Evil Thing. She's beautiful, she's crazy, she's sweet, and she can just be so ornery sometimes. Next came Harper, Little Miss Harper. She was named after a family that's very close to my family. She's a long-haired calico, and I found her in my yard in the rain, and she had bite marks all down her little hips. So I took care of her, nursed her back to health, and still have her, and she only loves me, nobody else, and I like that. I like it that way. But last but not least, there's Mia, also known as Mia Meow. She's a talker. Again, a stray that showed up, and she's a sweetheart. But she doesn't play real well with the other cats, so I have to keep her indoors and outdoors so that the indoor cats can kind of get away from her antics for a little while, get a break from each other. She's a Siamese, so she's really vocal. Siamese, they like to talk. And she's very affectionate, and she's got those cute little kind of crossed eyes. She's a mess. Her best buddy and her snuggle buddy is Lily the pit bull. They are just adorable together. And that's it for the animals. They won't let me have donkeys or llamas in the backyard, and the cats are not going to have lizards or goldfish or anything like that. But I'm thinking, bunnies. Bunnies might be a good addition. No, I'm kidding. Maybe, sort of. So anyway, I spend a lot of my free time, which I don't get a whole lot of, but I like to try to spend my time doing creative things. Making anything. I started doing recently, a little self-paced online watercolor class because I've always wanted to learn to paint in watercolor. So I'm enjoying that. That's my current gig. I'm starting to do different types of art journaling. That's also fun. I love it. A lot of times I'm in the garage with my latest DIY project from Pinterest, and the project that I'm hoping to finally finish when the weather gets nice is this old 1980s cabinet TV, the big TVs you had to get up and go turn the channel yourself. And I took the TV guts out, and I'm going to make it into a little doggy bed. And so I hope it turns out well. I think it'll be cute. So, also, I'm a big proponent of mindfulness, positive psychology themes and principles, and meditation. Something that I got into recently was binaural beats and subliminal meditations, which is music that kind of helps you with different aspects based on the tones that are registered in your brain and in your neural pathways. It's very interesting. It works. I had my doubts, but it works. It's working with me. You're going to get a whiff of some of these things that I'm interested in at one time or another. So I've published and I have presented on a lot of different topics, but the ones that again are most close to me, that are kind of my thing, are the topics of forgiveness, compassion, self-compassion, and mindfulness. I love The Walking Dead. I came to that a little late, but I am a fangirl, okay? I was a Breaking Bad fangirl before that. I like horror movies. Oh my God, I love horror movies. The last one I watched was The Conjuring 2. Oh my God, so good. Anyway, I like crime and suspense stuff, action movies. And I like the other kind too, but those are my kind of go-to things. I love reading self-help and motivational and productivity type books. You'll always hear me mentioning something about some book that I've been reading or listening to on Audible. My favorite book that I listened to last year, the whole year, was by Martha Beck, and it's called Finding Your Way in the Wild New World. Life-changing. Changed my life. I love that book. I recommend it to anybody. In terms of fiction, Stephen King, he's my go-to. James Patterson, any of those crime writers, horror writers, mystery, anything like that, I will give it a try. Don't have a whole lot of time for the fiction, but those are my go-to things. I'm looking forward. This year, there are going to be 2 movies released that are based on Stephen King books, and one of them is called It. That book was the one that scared me completely out of my skin, and I was terrified for weeks. I couldn't sleep without the light on. Grown woman now, okay? It is coming out, and The Dark Tower, which is based on a series of books. I think it's going to be good. I'm holding judgment until I see them. This year I rooted for the Dallas Cowboys. Usually not a huge fan of them. I'm usually a New York Giants girl. But I rooted for Dallas this year because their rookie quarterback, Dak Prescott, graduated from my alma mater, my undergraduate alma mater, Mississippi State University, and love that boy. So proud of the season that he gave us. I think he's going to show us some good things. Fingers crossed. And, I'm deaf. Yes. I grew up with progressive hearing loss. From about the 2nd grade is when they figured it out. Started wearing hearing aids, and it just progressed over the years very slowly until I had profound hearing loss. And in 2004 I got my first cochlear implant in my right ear, and in 2009 I got a cochlear implant in my left ear. So now I have both sides. I'm bionic. So I really do well with it. I've been very pleased. My doctors have been very pleased. I love listening to music. I like listening to my books on tape instead of reading. It's just fun for me. Here in Lubbock, I go and listen to live bands a good bit. We have a really, really cool music and art scene here in Lubbock. I mean, I'm not completely bought in by Lubbock, but it's a really good music and art scene here. I got my first tattoos and got a nose piercing 2015 after my mom passed away, and a lot of people were kind of shocked for me to show up with, nose pierced and then tattoos that I have on my arms. Try to get you to see that. Those are signatures of some people who passed away. It's their actual signatures that I had tattooed there to remember them. People that know me really well, really, really well, were not shocked at all. I quit coloring my hair. You can see that I'm pretty much gray all here in the front. I cut my hair really, really short. Just gonna let that gray grow out and just go with it. This semester, my goal for me, for Dr. D, as it relates to my teaching and in my courses, is really to continue to improve the communication, the level and depth of communication with my students and among my students. That's my goal. I firmly believe that learning happens on all these different levels. There's different ways of learning and different styles of learning, and that also affects it. But people need to experience all of these levels in order to get the deepest learning available to them, to optimize their learning, to get that higher order, that graduate level status of learning. Some of the ways that I'm doing this to try to meet my goals is I'm using some of the dynamic requirements of the course, like the videos that I'm asking you to do. I'm asking you to do the group assignments in a different way, try to get you to communicate. I'm not requiring some of the face-to-face communication for some assignments, but I'm really encouraging it. I've had a lot of really good feedback from students in previous semesters, and yeah, it can be a pain to try to organize and get it, find a time that's good for everybody, but pretty much everybody said, it was worth it, based on the learning that came out of it and the way that they got to know their peers in a very different way than they normally get to know them, and just the back and forth on the forums. So anyway, that's me in a nutshell, a great big old nutshell, and I'm looking forward to hearing about all of you, getting to know you, and having another successful semester. So you guys have a good one.